Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
Yeah. If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Yeah. Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 153 of the World's Strongest Podcast, the Massenomics Podcast. The show is on the road today.
Well, you can see we've redone the studio finally. We've talked about it for a while, and we decided to get wheels and some new windows for the studio, and it is now mobile.
We've got some ceiling lighting available. This is a first, isn't it? Definitely.
The options are nearly limitless in here.
Yeah.
Nothing can stop us now. I like it.
Yeah, the studio right now is, I think, somewhere in Illinois.
Yeah, we are. We just left Peoria, Illinois, and I don't know. It all looks the same, so it doesn't really. We got nowhere to go for the next 10 hours, so we really could go marathon style on this one if we wanted to.
This could be the longest episode, world's longest episode of the World's Strongest Podcast.
Yeah, instead of doing 10 hours, 10 episodes, we're just going to do one 10-hour episode.
It'll be up to you to start and stop whenever you want to.
The interesting thing, though, about being on the road is that everyone that we drive by gets to look at two guys sitting in a Suburban together holding microphones talking.
And everyone's like, oh my God, is that the Massenomics guys in there? Holy shit.
Yeah, we're getting just a lot of really positive reactions on the road out here.
Even from the policeman
and
on the side of the road
over
right
here. I know some states have laws against texting and driving. I haven't heard anything about podcasting and driving. So
I'm not sure what Illinois' stance on that is for sure.
They're probably pretty loose on it, I would guess.
So we're on our way back from the Arnold. If you haven't figured that out yet,
we're alive, just barely. We're broken and bruised, but
I feel like this is Will Smith's or any of those shows where they have to leave. They're stranded somewhere, or they're like Last of Our Surviving Kind, and they're have to leave a vlog of their existence.
If anyone finds this, I just want you to know that I went out peacefully. Yeah, it's kind of like that. That's exactly what we're doing. Yeah, I don't know. It's what we're going to do, though, is because just the Arnold is so much to talk about, we're going to break this into 2 episodes. We're going to do this one, which is more of like our experiences, meeting all you guys at the booth, all that. And then we're going to do a second episode, which kind of covers more of the accomplishments that went down lifter-wise at the Arnold. Because there really was a lot of stuff that happened this weekend.
A lot of records being broken and all that stuff, but we'll save most of that. We'll try and save most of that for next time. So I suppose we better not have a big lift segment in this.
Yeah, no, we got to skip that. So if you're one of those people that only come to us for the hard-hitting facts, you might want to skip this episode and just go right to the next one. But for those select few that do want to hear our commentary, this is the one for you.
But we know most people come here for like really factual-based information.
Yeah.
Really timely information. So this probably won't be the one for you.
Yep. Can't please them all.
How do we start then? Should we start like from the beginning of the trip and go chronologically, or just?
The beginning. That's like a week ago now. I can hardly wrap my head around that whole thing.
And it has all been such a blur between now and then.
Yeah, we could probably do that.
The trip, first of all, the trip there is pretty brutal for us. We knew what we were getting into with that, but the first day, I think we were on the road for like 14 hours. Was it over 14 hours?
We did from the time we left to the time we shut it down for the day, it was about 14 hours.
I think we spanned 850 miles in that time and crossed maybe 3 states.
Anytime you hit the 800-mile mark in one day, you're doing pretty good. You're covering some ground, so we were fairly happy with that one.
We did go one 6.5-hour stretch where we never got out of the car.
We didn't say a word to each other. We didn't look
play
at
the
each
radio.
other. Didn't turn on the radio. No drinking, no eating, just meditation.
I call that sensory fast.
It was a little bit of sensory deprivation, a little bit.
Just give ourselves a chance to reflect on the weekend ahead of us.
Just packed into a vehicle surrounded by nothing but lift shirts and lift shorts. And, I mean, what more could you want in life?
And we were quite literally surrounded by all that stuff. We were in a Chevy Suburban where we were sitting in the front two bucket seats, and then everything behind us was just a wall of...
Yeah, you took the third seat out, the second seat was folded up, and you're like, yeah, I got it in, it's packed pretty tight. And when you picked me up, I opened up the tailgate, and there was literally room for a duffel bag and a backpack. Like
that is it.
There was no way that you could fit one more person's things in here.
And it was optimized pretty well. It was a good game of Tetris that there was very few air gaps in the entire thing.
And that is actually the bigger one, is that on the way there, everything was like just squeezed in so tight. There was no rattling, no nothing.
Yeah.
And now that the back end's a little looser, you guys might hear us hit some bumps here and hear the displays rattling and jumping and bouncing back there.
Yeah, you also might notice some road noise in this
there
episode,
could be
I'm
some
sure.
road noise. Yeah,
like,
that is just the nature of doing a podcast on the road.
Yeah. We take the good with the bad on the Massenomics podcast.
Yeah. So then this is also the earliest we've ever done a podcast. We've never started a podcast probably before 2 in the afternoon, let alone 7:30 in the morning. So
right. My voice is a little not like I was yelling all weekend, but just constantly talking for 3 or 4 days.
I completely feel the same way, that I'm like straining a little bit just to keep this going.
Yeah.
But we do it for you guys. So all right, the hopping in the Suburban. I don't know if any of you guys have drove from South Dakota to Ohio before, but it's not an eventful drive.
No.
It literally doesn't change.
They just went from more snow to less snow.
Yeah, the biggest change was, the amount of snow. As you go from South Dakota to Iowa, you might see some very, very mild hills.
Yeah.
And then when you get closer to Ohio, you see a couple more trees.
Yeah.
And that's the drive right there.
Yeah.
Like, I just saved you 16 hours.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's no change. And so that's pretty exciting to see that go down.
Yeah, we slept in Champaign, Illinois, I think, on the way there.
Just had a guys' night out at Chili's, like any guys want to do. What more can you say about that?
That was it.
And stayed at a La Quinta, hot breakfast. The bare qualifications for a hot breakfast mean you need a waffle iron or a microwave. Then all of a sudden you have a hot breakfast.
They just met the bare qualifications of a hot breakfast because that's what they had.
Yep. So we had a good start to our day Friday.
Yeah,
that was Thursday, right? Day before.
Yeah, that was Thursday. So we got up early that second morning, and I think we were on the road by 6:30 probably, and we got to Columbus then by about noon. Do you think?
Yeah, it was right around there, because there is the time shift. We finally go from the Central Time Zone to the Eastern Time Zone.
Yeah.
So there is that shift where it kicks over, and you do lose an hour. But yeah, it was somewhere around noon, 1 o'clock when we pulled into Ohio.
And it's just to recap one other point about that trip. It's funny, we're from South Dakota, and people consider that the Midwest. Everyone we're from says that's the Midwest.
Yep.
And people from Ohio, I think, also consider themselves to be in the Midwest, and they are so fucking far apart from each other.
It's got to be the biggest geographical region in the United States.
Yes.
I don't know. That's like that's probably bigger than most countries even, and we consider it the same region. But
yes. When we got there to Columbus, though, it was the end of one adventure and the start of a completely new one, because the unloading and unpacking and where to even go was a little bit of a mystery to us.
That was the big gray area of, are we going to show up and there's going to be a line of 100 semis in front of us, and they'll say, all right, tonight when these guys are done, you guys can slip in, or how does that work? And we kind of did a loop around the building to figure out where the hell we were going, and once we found the spot, the security guy was there, and he's like, all right, you're just going to back in right here. And so that actually went much smoother than we thought.
Yeah, I think that went way better than what I was thinking it could have been like, because I didn't really know, but
I don't even know if did we even wait 10 minutes to get a spot.
Yeah, if that even. And then then we started unpacking stuff and throwing it on the dolly and going in with it pretty much right away. And
that was really all there was to it. Is just get the dolly out, start loading up boxes, and start running to the booth. And from the loading dock to the to our booth, I don't know, was it 100 yards or so probably?
Yeah.
So it's not like we had to walk a super far distance or anything. And you drop your stuff in, and it is really weird seeing the Arnold not in the state of chaos of like everyone there. All the booths are set up. Like you just see everyone, just regular ass people setting stuff up and working away.
That is probably the biggest change of the Arnold that we got to see this year. Some of the before and after that we normally weren't there for.
Yeah.
And also with that, the people that run these booths or the lifters that are all at these booths, how they're just there helping and doing all the same stuff that everyone else is doing.
It really brings everyone to that normal person level. Like you don't see, or you kind of, it makes people lose their kind of glow in their awe. It's like, oh yeah, they're just doing the same shit as me.
Yeah, like
no different.
Well, this was when we were packing up at the end of it, but like how you said, you had to go get in line to get packed up and stuff, and Lane Norton's in the vehicle in front of you, and
that is exactly just to kind of drive home the point of how it's just these people. Like after a while, everyone kind of just loses their like awe. Like it's just like, oh, just a guy I know at this point. So at the end of it all, when we had to start tearing down, and we're getting a little out of order in the timeline here, but at the end of it all, when we start tearing down, someone had to get the vehicle, get in line at the loading dock because everyone's trying to do the same thing at this point. And so I decided to get the vehicle. Tanner's going to start packing up the booth. So I take off. I'm walking through the convention center, and Kaz just walks across right in front of me. And like any other time in your life, you'd be like, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, nope, he just goes just on his own. That's just him. And you don't even bother to say anything because it's like, I'm sure he's sick of people.
Yeah, everyone's sick
I'm tired of people.
Then,
so it's like, okay, there goes Kaz. Then I go a little bit farther down the convention hall, and there's Huck Finn. Oh, how'd you turn out, brother? Just and like talking to me about the whole booth, and he wanted to know how we did, and I want to know how he did, and so we talked about that for a while. Then I leave there, get in the Suburban, come down the parking ramp, get in line, and there's another Suburban in front of me. And all of a sudden the Suburban stops, they open the door, the guy gets out, and it's Lane Norton. It's like, oh, Lane Norton's in front of me now. So like that on its own too would be a very unusual thing.
Right. And we had we'd talked to all
we did talk to all these guys too.
But it's just more it's funny seeing them in the situation of doing the same shitty stuff that we're doing at that point,
Well, and then even I forgot even before I saw Kaz, I saw James Strickland again.
Yeah.
He's walking. I'm like, oh, you're still here, man, and just so we see him. So then Lane Norton gets out of his vehicle. They're like switching people around or something. They get out of line, drive off. I loop around. I get the vehicle parked. I go running in to see Tanner and to see how Tanner's doing at the booth. While I'm running in at the loading dock, the whole Slingshot crew, basically everyone besides Mark Bell and the Slingshot crew standing there with the bench. And that, again, is another thing where it's like, if you saw that, that'd be crazy. But they're all just hanging out there. It seemed like they were waiting. I go in, get some boxes. I go in, get some boxes. On the way out, they're still standing there, and I notice there's a pickup backing up. All of a sudden, the guy gets out of the pickup, and it's Matt Wenning, and they're loading up Matt Wenning's bench.
Yeah.
And again, another thing that would be so unusual and crazy if it happened in your normal life. And that was like, that whole chain of events was over the course of like 15 minutes there.
Yeah.
And it's just, that is kind of the magic of the Arnold, is that you just run into people everywhere you go.
That's true. That is what it's like generally.
So kind of getting back to the order of things, though, is when you get to the Arnold, though, the crazy thing about it is, and Tanner put this perfectly, is that the Arnold is basically if your Instagram feed came to life for a weekend. That really is what it instead of scrolling by photos of people scroll by you in real life.
Yes, that is what it's like.
That is exactly what it is.
Instead of, there's Mateusz Kielkowski on my feed lifting a rock, and there's Quads Like Rob walking by, or, lifting, like, there he actually is walking by, and there he is going by our booth. And it is really that. If your Instagram is mostly following lifters, which probably a lot of our listeners are, it is just that come to life.
Yeah. And so once you think of it that way, it is a really funny.
Yeah.
It's a funny analogy, but it's so true for how
Yeah.
that weekend works out.
The setting up of the unloading of the equipment and everything, I think, went faster than I was expecting, but the actual setting up of a booth took longer.
Well,
than what
and
I was
that's so we drop all of our things off, and I think we took a lunch break at that point, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
We took a lunch break
because we were like, "Damn, we're ahead of schedule." Like,
Yeah, we're
let's
feeling pretty
celebrate.
good.
Yeah.
Almost like, we kind of got the work done here.
Yeah.
Like, we'll go stop at Hubert's Polish Kitchen like we do every year.
A Massenomics tradition.
It is a Massenomics tradition.
And we talked to Mr. Hubert at Puller.
As
I
always,
don't know what
yep.
his name actually is for sure,
it's
but
got to be Hubert.
Yeah, he's always really
We
cool.
gave him our praise.
Yeah.
He gave us some fist bumps.
Yep.
It was all good. And then it's like, okay, let's get to work here. So we head back to the booth. We head back to the booth, and 10 by 10 booth with what do we have, like 16 boxes,
Yeah.
over 1,000 shirts in there for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
All right, let's get this stuff put together. And that took hours and hours and hours and hours.
Putting all the display racking together, the shelving together, and then like trying to figure out how to organize it in a way that you can somewhat get to that stuff when you need to get to it was a real challenge, I would say.
Well, and we've never put a booth together in our life of
Right.
any kind. Like, we don't have jobs that require us to be going to trade shows. Like, outside of the Arnold, I've maybe been to like one other trade show in my life. You know,
Right.
that's not some small little local thing. So we just have no idea what we're doing. And then on top of that, like, you're trying to set up a system where you get all your shirts out so that when people are asking for things, you can get them in a hurry.
Yep.
And it was just kind of a whole cluster of trying to get that system down.
Yeah.
And then the display, like, what makes sense to make this display so people can see shit
Yeah.
and know where you're at. And even from that, we have all types of takeaways for what we would do different. But I think for what we had and what we took with us and what we had to work with, I feel like we did a pretty good job.
I think so too.
But that is definitely something that future booths, future years, we know things that we could improve for sure and optimize.
It's like you said. Now there's more things we know that we can do better on that we just wouldn't know without having been there and done it once before.
And the
at least.
biggest one, it sounds so obvious, but at the time you kind of get caught up, is just getting more things up higher and getting more things out front.
Yeah.
Those are probably the two bigger takeaways. And, we'll dress things up a little bit too now that we know kind of what's going on. But so we learned something there. That was always good. And
we had to. The one funny thing about setting up the booth is like our racking in the back that the shirts hang on. We realized it just wasn't as tall as it could be to help us.
So and that was kind of we didn't want to bring a trailer with us.
Right.
So not bringing a trailer, saved us money and just makes the whole trip so much easier.
Big time.
So getting it all into the Suburban meant that the longest thing you can put in here is about 6 feet.
Yeah.
And we had an option for 8-foot racking, but it just doesn't fit in here.
Right.
So we got 6-foot racking thinking, that's fine. Well, we're both 6 feet tall or taller. So, in your little booth, we block out all the stuff.
Yeah.
So we're like, we got to get this stuff up higher. We got to find something to put our racking on so it goes higher. So we start looking around the back of the convention center thinking, is there a pallet or something? Well, pallets won't work because we'll need 50 of them to stack all of it up across a 10-foot space.
Yep.
And then we're like, there is milk crates laying there.
Yeah.
So we jacked some milk crates from the back.
Kind of look back and forth about 3 or 4 times to make sure no one's really looking.
And no one really cares at all.
No. That's the other thing at the Arnold too. Nobody.
There's just a total lack of people that seem
nobody's
to be in charge in any way.
Yeah, nobody is really in charge of anything. You can almost do anything if you just really want
and
to.
There's actually even cops walking around, and I'm not even sure they're completely aware of what is and isn't legal during
I think
those.
They're just having fun almost.
That does seem like it. And just to get the impression of order when there really is none there at all.
Yes, I agree.
But we got some milk crates to give us an extra, foot and a half of lift on our things just to get them up a little higher.
Yep.
And I think that did help. And I don't know, did it take us like 5-6 hours to get the whole booth set up?
I think so. And even just, organizing over 1,000 shirts in that small of an area is tricky.
It is, because every piece you move, you have to Like, you can't just move things. You have to move one thing in order to move another thing.
Yeah.
It is just a big puzzle, kind of.
Yeah, it is. But all in all, it worked out pretty well for us. So that was Thursday night, and same way with all the lifters and stuff that we look up to and respect and enjoy talking to. Most of those guys are around getting things together. All these people that we know from the other booths. That was another cool thing right away, is we get to hang out with all these guys that we maybe haven't hung out with in person before, that own other companies, like Frank from Lift Evil. We'd never met him before.
Yeah, got to meet him for the first time, which was awesome.
Yeah, and his booth was right around the corner from us, so we got to hang out with him all weekend. And Nick from Live Large helped us out a lot in preparation for this, and even over the weekend and everything, just because he's been there and done it for so many
and how he's
years.
probably been, he, for no doubt, has been and exhibited at more, events like this right now than we ever will in our lifetime. There's no way we will match his number of events that he's gone to.
And you can tell he's got it down.
He knows like numbers, percentages, all types of stuff that just you don't know that unless you have experience.
Right.
And he had all types of like insider tips and tricks and hacks and all that stuff. So that was a major help for us, having Nick feed us some info.
And then around us too, JB Boss and Huck Finn Barbell, they were both right across from us.
And Huck Finn Barbell, just like you guys would all expect, was really low key, just nothing out of the ordinary.
No, wasn't drinking any beer.
No, there was no beer, no yelling, no antics at all. So don't even ask about it.
Yeah, you do wonder how he keeps it up for that many days.
That's the more impressive thing, is God, that guy's strong, but he's also got stamina. Like,
yes.
The fact, one, that he still had his voice yesterday at the end of the day was mind-blowing, and then that he could just go as long as he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say he is fueled by Miller Lite and Monster.
Yes.
Those are the two things that he's putting down all the time.
For sure. And then on the other sides of us, there was some supplement companies.
Yeah, we were surrounded by some supplement companies, which... supplement companies.
Yeah, they suck.
What do you say about them?
Like, and their booths are a little bit annoying being right next to, I would say.
Maybe the only acceptable booth for a supplement company would be the Animal Cage, just because
it's
that's so
different.
Focused on lifting and not just like, here's powder, take it, take this pre-workout. Like, here we dumped a bunch of chocolate protein in this clear glass, and it looks like liquid diarrhea that we're serving up to people all day long.
It really does too. And everyone's just taking all this.
Oh yeah, I'll try some pre-work. Like, I want to know how many people just drink, like, I don't know, a gallon of pre-workout in a day.
By the time you leave there, you're on like 1,000 milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah, like that can't feel good. And how much sugary, just sweet shit do you need to have down your suck hole all day? But some people, I think that's what keeps them going. So
yeah.
So we get all set up, and then Friday morning was, the big day. And we got there at 7 in the morning?
Yes.
Yeah, 7:30 we show up. The mostly exhibitors and maybe some VIP type people are in there around 8, that time, 8 to 9. I think 9:30ish is when, or was it 9 when all the VIP got in?
Yeah, that's probably right.
And then like 9:30, 10, the general public started showing up, and it was, not knowing what to expect. It was right away in the morning. Things are a little slow, and then before you know it, like, it's just like boom, boom, boom. Like, shirts are moving off the shelves. People are showing up. Like, oh, I've been waiting all year for this. You know, just things like that. And it was really, really cool. And this is just where you start to see, I don't know, maybe the impact this podcast has. Like, we start to see people coming by, like, I listened to the podcast, or I found you guys online, or I found someone mentioned you guys on Reddit. Someone mentioned you guys on the Powerlifting Motivation Facebook chat. Like, just all these avenues and different ways that people found us for the podcast. It was really cool.
I would say I was surprised by how many people came up and said that they listened, that they are fans of the podcast. I knew we'd get a few people, but it was way more than I would have guessed that were like, because that's, some people will come up and won't say that right away, but you can tell that they we chat with everyone that we could as long as we were not like crazy busy. And after talking to them a while, you can tell that they might say a couple things and you know that they know Massenomics prior to this expo. They're not just there because they saw our shirt and liked it, which a lot of people there were buying shirts just because they saw the shirts. And
my favorite
shirts.
was the guy that's like, I think it was Sunday. He goes, man, I saw all these people walking around in the Yeah Buddy shirt. And I got home last night and I was Googling nonstop trying to find that thing. And I couldn't that had to be the world's most frustrating Google search. Like, what do you type in? Yeah buddy beer shirt? Like, it's not going to, like, I get what he's trying to find, but just Google is not going to track that down for him. Somehow he found us. I can't even remember what he said, how he did actually, if he talked to someone or found it on Instagram, but he did find us. So credit to that guy for really sticking it out.
Yes. But there was so many people that said, yeah, I've been listening to your podcast forever, or I just started, I found it at like episode 120 and I've been listening since then. Or one guy
some people that's like, I just found the podcast and I started at the beginning of episode 30 something, and I was like, damn, dude, that's impressive that you're going to do that.
Yep. Yeah. He's like, I just started, and he's like, I'm up to episode 30 and I just listened to your most recent one too.
He goes, it's like a different show. I hope with anything that you do for 3 years, I hope it changes and evolves over the course of time. So I think that's a good sign.
Yeah. He was saying he just listened to the episode where we did the first Massenomics Strongman Showdown, which seems so long ago.
It does. Like, is that even in my lifetime when that happened? That's history.
Yeah.
The other one that I liked is, anyone that listens to this podcast regularly is in on the lift shorts joke of the price of those. And, like, are we going to see people that are also in on that joke? Like, there's got to be a couple, but is there going to be that many? And it was already the first day, there was right away a couple people that made the comment of, like, because we had a pricing sign and they go, these shorts are really expensive. And you're thinking, are they like being serious? And then they just say that, then they give you a smile and it's like, all right, these guys know what's up. And that was kind of the running joke, because we tell people like, next year we're going to bring a glass case in, and it's going to be under a key. If you want to see the shorts, we'll have to unlock the case and pull out a pair for you. Most people seem to like that. And I do like the idea of how just over the top and ridiculous that is.
There was so many people that were in on the lift shorts joke. That was so cool.
The number of people that are like, I took out a loan before I came here, and just I've been cutting on other things in my life.
It's almost like if anyone would buy the lift shorts and not mention anything about it, I had to almost ask him, like, so do you know about the lift shorts?
Do you know the legend of these things? Because man, you're really missing out on having the full story here.
Because there was like, there'd be a guy that would walk by that literally it's jam packed in there. He's just walking by and he like feels the shorts and he's like, oh, I'll buy a pair of these.
Because that's funny too, that people do that, like, Champion, black shorts. Yeah, these are cool. Can I get a pair?
Yeah.
Like, man, okay, sit down. We got to tell you a little story about these shorts first.
Yes.
There's a lot of power and responsibility that goes with these things.
No, you can't just buy a pair of lift shorts.
No one just buys lift shorts. Like, you think about it, debate it.
Yes.
Think how long it's going to wreck you, the type of stress it's going to put you through.
Like, you don't just walk by our booth and just, like, I was almost offended. And like, no, do you know how many people can't just do what you're doing right now?
Not everyone's a millionaire that just carelessly throws money around.
I mean, he was wearing a tuxedo. So.
He did say something about his driver pulling up in the Bentley too to get him. So I don't know. And maybe that's just how people in Ohio are. But
another thing, there was this is a recurring thing of the podcast. We always say we don't have any female listeners outside of maybe our mothers and 3 others. And there was a lot more women lifters that came up and said that they enjoyed the podcast than I would have ever imagined.
There was. I really would have thought, at best, there would be 2 or 3. Yeah. And there was way more than that.
Yeah.
And, we got comments like, oh, you guys are funny, which, maybe your sense of humor needs some help. But no, like, we did get a lot of really good compliments on just... from men and women of various age groups even, So that's cool. Maybe we're appealing to a few more people than we initially thought.
Yeah. I would say older people than we would have imagined, younger people than we would have imagined, and it's just a cool feeling to see it too, and get to actually meet those people and then be like, I guess we'll keep doing it then.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do a few more episodes. We won't end it with the road trip episode. And then also the just the number of people that wanted to stop by and like take a picture,
Yeah.
even just chat for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, all types of stuff. There was the ones that surprised me too were the people that were like, oh, they would come running over basically with like literally holding their wallet in their hand and being like, oh, okay, I've been really excited for this.
Yeah.
And go, okay, lift shirt, bench shirt, lift short. And you're like, whoa, hold up, man. Like, I can't remember all these things.
Right.
And they just rattle stuff off.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I'm so excited for this, guys.
Yeah. That's really cool for us too. It's like, oh, someone actually likes this stuff.
Yeah, that is probably the most rewarding part, is like seeing people like actually appreciate and value something that we're putting all this work into.
It's funny with the people that want to come up and take a picture and stuff too. Like 1 year ago at this time, that happened for the first time ever.
Yeah, and I think it was 3 or 4 people maybe did that.
Yeah, I think the first one ever may have been Mr. Scott Dodds.
Could have very well been.
And at the time we were like, wow, that's so cool. Someone actually like recognized us or recognized our logo or something and knew who we were. And this year it was just like a regular.
Yeah, it was
occurrence.
a regular occurrence.
Yeah,
and that's that's just speaking to the people that I would actually call fans. The people that wanted to, stop back and come take a picture and chat and have jokes, and a lot of them came back multiple times through the weekend too, which is cool. Like they're just like, hey, what's up, guys? Just how's day 2 going? How's day 3 going?
Yeah.
Scott Dodds, he kept us in the loop on everything that was happening. I don't know if there's a guy that sees more of like the strength events, like strongman, and like gets in there for that than him.
And
like
meets
Scott has a belt of every, and okay, for the people that don't know, Scott Dodds is a Massenomics super fan. We would classify him as. Scott carried a belt with him all weekend, and that belt has the who's who of autographs on it.
He does. Larry Wheels, Big Z, Brian Shaw, Kazmaier, Magnus for Magnuson, literally there's probably 10 others that are really good ones on
probably
there.
anyone that was at the SBD
Eddie
booth
Hall,
the entire weekend. You got everyone. And also, Scott, I know you dropped by the booth a few times this weekend. Tanner mentioned something about you having some crazy dunk mixtape out there, and I'm really jealous that I didn't know about this and I didn't see anything of this. So we might have to get in contact with you to find out about these things.
Yes, definitely.
So that outside of just all of the
supporters,
supporters that came by, the other thing that was really cool is the number of like kind of personalities and personas and lifters that stopped by the booth too.
Yes,
and we're definitely gonna miss some people because it was so many, but over the course of the few days,
and these are people that didn't just stop and like get a handshake, and we got to hang out.
Like
with
they
them
came
all
back
and
behind the
talk
booth and hung out for a while. I think the very first, James Strickland, swim hack, was the very first one. He was there
first.
He did get first. In real life, that's quite the accomplishment.
He was also first comment on YouTube.
Doubling up this week.
Yeah. So Big James is kind of hitting home runs right now.
So he was like the first guy. Obviously with Huck Finn being right there. He's always around the booth. Tom Callis was right there. JB Boss was right next to them. So Ed Cohn was kind of always in the area. Andre Milanichev was around. We had Pete Rubish stop by for a while.
Pete Rubish was hanging out for quite a while. And with him, Perseus from Alabama was with him.
And we'll touch on the Alabama guys in a minute here. But the whole Alabama crew was always around. Jesse Burdick was around for a while.
He stopped by a couple different times. CC
Holcomb came by.
I'm
trying. You can't even wrap your head around everyone. Julius Maddox, LW the Machine.
Leroy Walker, TD Smash. We talked about this between TD Smash, Leroy Walker, Julius Maddox, James Strickland. I think just about everyone that benches that's in the ballpark of 50 or more
probably came and visited. I don't know
outside of like Kirill Serchev.
They all came by and hung out at the booth, which was really cool.
And it was cool, like we had never met like guys like Julius or TD Smash or those guys before, and they're kind of genuinely fans of what
they were. Dude, they were jacked to see us.
They were excited to come over and hang out and talk about it. So that's super cool for us too. And these guys that are world class strength actually enjoy what we got going on and stuff.
Yep. Ernie Lillybridge stopped by for a while.
Yeah. Then Maddie Forberg on the last day.
That was actually one of the biggest surprises. Because we knew some of those guys would be around stopping by.
Yeah.
And
Matt Vincent.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Matt Vincent swung by for a little bit and chatted it up. But it was towards the end. We were just getting ready to start kind of taking things down, and this guy and this lady slip into the booth, and I just hear this raspy voice, and I look down, and it's Meg Squat. She goes, "Massenomics, I love you guys so much."
Yeah.
She goes, "Sorry, my voice is gone." And she was just like, "I'm so glad I made it over here. Like, I can't believe you guys have been here all weekend.
Yeah.
Like, it just sucks, having a booth. We were never able to see anyone." And then she goes, "Am I talking to you?" She's talking to me when she's saying this. She goes, "Am I talking to you online all the time?"
Yeah.
Like, no, that's Tanner.
Yeah.
So she was really cool to meet in person. Like, I had no idea what she'd be like, and she's kind of one of those people that transcends powerlifting a little bit. Which she has like deals with Kellogg's, like Special K, and just all types of other women's things.
It was her and her boyfriend there, and
both both really cool,
really
people.
Nice, really cool. And to us, it's just like, we know, like, maybe, she'll comment on our stuff sometimes, and we, people like this, we've made Massenomics Versus for them, so we know they're kind of aware of it. But for them to actually stop by and then be like, "Oh, we love what you guys are doing. It's so cool." It's whoa.
And that, like, in the world of Instagram, someone like her with 300,000 plus followers that probably gets DMs and messages and offers and tagged all day long.
Yeah.
Like, to have someone like us like stick out in her memory. That is a really cool thing.
That was.
And then shortly after her, Maddie Forberg came by too.
Yeah.
Both of those girls, surprising how little they actually are.
Yes.
I just still in my head have a hard time just gauging sizes of people, and both times it's like, you're just like small women, like not these enormous scary power lifters it seems like maybe you would be, but nope, they're just cool people that stop by.
Terry Hollins
did walk by the booth and talked for a while too. He remembered our interview from last year, and again, he's still really
his
big.
Wife too.
Yeah, his wife
competes in figure or something
like
that.
Yep, still really big. He hasn't gotten smaller since last year. Maybe more ripped since last year, but not smaller. The other one that was shocking, didn't stop but walked by, was Brian Shaw. Just when he walks down the aisle, the size of him.
Yeah, Huck Finn was
he goes, Shaw!
He was in our booth at the time, and I goes, "Hey, there's Big Brian," and Huck looks and he goes, "Shaw!" And he turns back and just gives him a.
He's probably like, "I don't have time for this right now."
I mean, he had torn his hamstring, and but there's just of the general audience, there's a ton of people that walk by the weekend that Tommy and I will even point them out to each other that we're like, "Whoa, look at that guy, he's really big," like, "Whoa, that guy's got a huge back," or his arms are like got to be like 30 inches around.
Herbie the Love Bug even.
Oh yeah, Herbie came to the booth for a little while. Really nice guy too. He was,
and he has this thing where his back connects to his ears.
Yes.
His traps don't make any sense at all.
Yes. But with Shaw too, he dwarfs all those other guys that are huge.
He does. Yeah.
He looks. I mean, honestly, to me, he looks like a giant person, like someone if giants existed. And I'm comparing him to these other people that are enormous.
Yep.
Though even just the way he walks, like he has the mannerisms of
like
someone that
lumbers around.
Yeah, that you actually think is a giant, like is a different species almost.
Yeah, absolutely. The other strong man. I always forget how you say it. Is it Helena or
Rano Heinla? Yeah.
We saw him.
I talked to him for just a couple seconds.
Him and Mateus came by, and I've always thought, and it is changing over time here because he's so young, but Mateus always seemed like kind of like a smaller strong man a little bit, like or maybe even leaner. He is somewhat tall. He's like 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah.
But he just looked so much smaller than Shaw and Thor. But when he walked down the aisle, he has such like a unique physique in the way that how just filled out he is without looking fat at all.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't look like just like shredded. He's not like a bodybuilder defined, but just the sheer mass of his body. It's hard to you just don't see that ever.
No.
I mean, he has a physique that's very, very unique to him.
Right.
So that really put into perspective how big of a guy he is. And then it did make a little more sense. Like, okay, I guess I can see why that guy can just throw stones around like no one else in the world.
Right.
Because he is built different than anyone else in the world.
Yep. Are we forgetting anyone?
I mean,
I know
we're
are.
definitely forgetting someone because
Steve Johnson, Forsaken
Yeah,
Warrior,
Steve
was
Johnson
around
was
there.
by for a
Talked
little
to
bit.
him. Chris Wiest.
Oh yeah, Chris Wiest. Yeah, he came by. We finally got to meet him,
Yep.
which
got
was overdue and awesome to have that.
We won't
happen.
spoil how he did in the cage because we'll probably save all that.
Yeah,
stuff
we'll save
the
that
next-
for the performance
yeah.
section. But he did have a really good day in the cage.
Yeah, he's also another guy where his traps just kind of go right up to his earlobes.
Yeah, absolutely, they do. They do.
We said that a couple times where it's like, funny how all these guys that can deadlift close to 900 pounds or more do not have necks.
Yeah, I mean, Pete Rubish is the exact same way.
Yeah.
Like, none of those guys have a small upper back, like neck trap region. It's all very oversized.
You know who's back? I may have been the most impressed by of the
Who's?
CC's.
Yeah,
was,
her physique is maybe the craziest thing.
Yes,
it's
she was wearing a not that tight T-shirt, and her traps literally stuck out from her back. Like,
it was like, I mean,
like, and I don't
there's
mean the top,
people.
but like
people wear
along
like
her
fake
back.
Marvel costumes for
Yeah.
Halloween that look more realistic than
Yes.
her actual body because she's so jacked.
Yes.
Yeah, that one we actually did talk about that after she left. Like, what? Yeah, it makes sense that she can do what she does.
Yeah.
because she's so strong.
The Spud Inc. Team.
Yeah, Spud Inc. team
we're
stopped
by
by
several times.
basically every day.
Yeah.
which is really cool.
They're really, really nice too, and they had some good ideas for a potential future podcast segment that maybe you'll see at some point in time.
Yeah, and I liked that a lot.
Yeah,
so,
we won't spoil the
hopefully we
surprise
can
there,
make some
but-
things happen and make that come through. Our friends to the north in North Dakota also stopped by the booth.
Full Circle Strength. Mitch Hughes and his wife stopped by. I'm annoyed because I know that we're going to be missing probably 10 people that we could rattle off here, but there was a lot. It's almost overwhelming when you think about of how many people that we kind of look up to and enjoy watching that we get to hang out with for that weekend. It's tough to manage it too, because at the same time of doing all of this, there's still customers coming by.
Yeah, and that's where it gets tricky is, you do want to play. Well, you just want to sit. Any one of these people you'd want to sit and talk to for an hour plus,
Like-
2 hours, 3 hours. But then
And
you
anyone
also
that's also buying a shirt from us, I want to talk to them too, and I
Yeah.
want to be like, I want to know, hey, like,
how
where
do you
see
find
this?
us?
Yeah,
Like, do you know about us? Just like kind of get the whole story and just kind of feel like what the audience is like out there.
Yeah.
And, it just you can't split your time that many ways. It's
Right.
just not possible to spend that much time with everyone and then still kind of do. Because at the end of the day, we did come here. It is a business trip. We're
Right.
going to sell stuff. Like,
Yeah.
if we don't sell stuff, one, we're not coming back next year, and two, like, Massenomics isn't going to be around if it's not selling things.
Right.
You know?
Yes. We can't like continue to donate money to the project forever. Like, eventually it has to. Especially, I would say this weekend is with a booth in comparison to what we've done the last few years of just walking around and interviewing people. The booth is so much more work.
It is.
I mean, it is work.
Especially when there's two people, you don't really get a chance to get away. This is how it would go. Every morning, Tanner and I would eat breakfast. When we'd get to the Arnold, usually about 7:30, we'd both say, all right, this is our last chance for a bathroom break. So one of us would go, the other one would come back, we'd go. And then it'd be about 1:30, and we'd say, we haven't ate, drank, or gone to the bathroom yet today.
Yeah.
And about that time, the Alabama guys would show up with like a sub or water or beer or something for us and be like, yes.
Yeah.
And then we'd say, okay, bathroom break time. One of us would go because everything would be so jammed at that point. It would take about a half hour or more to get to the bathroom, get back. Then the other guy would go. And then we'd wait until 6, 7 o'clock at night to go to the bathroom for the second time.
Yep.
Or the third time of the day. And I remember, especially the first day, feeling like about 4 o'clock that like an intense hangover was hitting me.
Uh-huh.
And I think it was just dehydration and just tiredness from all the activity was setting in.
Yesterday we didn't eat.
Yeah, it was. We were in the Suburban, and it was, what was it, 7 o'clock? And we go, when was the last time we ate? Like, well,
someone walked by.
Oh no, it was like we had breakfast at the convention center. Oh, and then someone from Robert Irving's protein bar booth walked by and gave us a mystery bar. And we go, mystery bar. She goes, it's peanut butter and jelly. I'll just tell you. Other one, Jessica stopped by.
That's what I was thinking too.
Actually, two Jessicas.
Two.
Jessica from Slingshot, which was awesome to talk to her.
She's super nice.
She did say that she's like, yesterday might have been the best day of my life. I got to have dinner with Arnold, Mark Bell. Mark bought me these brand new Jordans, and John Cena texted me. So that's a pretty cool day. Not your average day. So that was cool. But Jessica, you know who you are. She's helped us out through the years, getting photos, getting some strongman coverage. She swung by the booth, got to take a picture, give us some support.
Yeah.
And we got to hook her up with some things too. So that was really awesome. And should we talk about the Alabama guys at all?
No.
I don't. Maybe we should just not cover them at all. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do a podcast. It's just the nature of the weekend with how crazy it is. They were lifting, going to West Side. Like, they had all types of stuff going on, too.
And who the Alabama guys are, if you don't know, it'd be Bacon and Beer Bells on Instagram is Jonathan Oldham, and we kind of sponsor him and help him out with stuff.
Yeah, and if you don't follow him, check that out for sure. Actually, all these guys that just applies to in general.
And we've, he's been a big supporter of Massenomics for a really long time, and one of the biggest supporters of, he posted a picture on, I think, getting ready to come to the Arnold of all his Massenomics. I might have to have him send me that picture.
He might have more than we do.
Yeah, that was what you said. You're like, I think John might have more Massenomics stuff than I have.
Like, I might have more, but some of it's in the bottom of my closet, and I don't know where it's at.
Right.
He has more that's like in rotation and use than I do, for
I'll
sure.
have to get that picture from him, and we'll put that out there for people to see. That can be everyone's goal for 2019.
A metric to shoot for there.
So he came, and then Les Keys. Well, actually, it's Les Kais, I learned.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Talk about spoiler alert there.
That's his coach. They train out of Diamond K Powerlifting in Birmingham, right?
Yep.
Irondale, I guess, but we learned that's kind of all Birmingham in Alabama. Les is his coach. He came with, and then
got to meet the gym owner.
Yep,
big Richie Boley.
Yep. He was a little disappointed that Massenomics doesn't follow him on Instagram, and
well, I heard they do like some of his comments now, though.
Yes, right. I told if Massenomics doesn't follow you on Instagram, don't feel bad. You can even look and watch and notice for yourself. I try to keep that number around 450 because it's a number I made up in my head one day,
and it is somewhat manageable still.
Yeah, so that's why. But those guys were around all weekend and were really helpful to us, actually, like you said, getting us so we didn't die of starvation and thirst.
Well, yeah, and there's just so much to talk about with them.
Yeah.
I mean, it could almost be an episode on its own, but everyone else might get tired of hearing about that. But, we had never got to meet the guys, and this was a crazy one where just with the state of lifting nowadays and Instagram and just the internet, that you can kind of feel like you're really good friends with people, yet never have met them in person or really even talk to them on the phone for that matter. Like, it's basically, we keep track of each other's lives through DMs and Instagram clips. Like, that's how we know each other.
Yeah.
And like, we talked about it this weekend, like, God, what if we meet these guys and they're like actual total weirdos? Like, it's possible, because we do only know them through Instagram, that we're missing some huge chunk of their life. It'd be really weird if we were that far off base, but it's possible. And that wasn't the case at all.
No.
I mean, you could say they were weirdos, but it was for the right reasons.
Well,
like,
it was the kind of weirdos that we like.
Yeah, that we like and we need to have around.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were, one, just lifesavers for us the whole weekend, and then two, it was awesome to have them around.
We were gonna podcast and stuff. It didn't work out the night we were planning for. Some of them ended up going to West Side Barbell to train, so that's pretty.
It's like, given the chance to podcast with Massenomics or go to West Side, I think we
Yeah.
know the answer there. And,
I mean, it's becoming more borderline with the growth of Massenomics, but
next year I think that answer becomes much more obvious.
yes, that it's the Massenomics podcast.
Absolutely. But yeah, so some of them got busy with that. But we did get to the one night. We went to a taco shop and
Excellent taco shop.
yeah,
though.
ate quite a bit, and I drank a lot of Modelo, and they had some margs, and it was a good night. I think we all, for how tired you and I were, Tanner, we probably sat there several more hours than we initially thought we
Yeah.
were going to. But I had a lot of fun, and I could have sat there many more hours if I didn't have to wake up at 5:30 the next day and suffer through standing in a 5-foot cell
Yeah.
for 12 hours.
So tired every day, though. You know, the whole thing is just you're running on. Luckily, sales are pretty exciting to me. So
Yes, sales are
Yeah.
rejuvenating in a
Yeah.
way that like caffeine or anything
yeah,
like that isn't.
where you're like, oh, someone's buying something. All right, I can handle sticking around for this.
Yeah.
You know, just to speak in it like kind of vaguely though, sales we were really, if anyone's curious, I think we were really happy with the way things went as far as the booth goes.
Yeah,
And
I think so. Like you have no idea going into something like this. Like, are we going to lose money? Are we
Yeah.
going to break even? Are we
Yeah.
going to see any money? And we tend to be, very conservative with any estimates business wise and anything. And
Yeah.
that's probably the best one because it's more realistic and you don't get your hopes up as much.
Yep.
And I think it's safe to say we exceeded our expectations of what
Yeah,
we thought
we
was
did.
possible. If you
Yeah.
said a week ago how it went, I think we would have been like, no,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have done that.
You know, and if you heard just the total numbers of sales, you'd probably be like, "Whoa, that sounds like a lot of money." But then when you factor in how
Arnold booths are
expensive-
crazy expensive.
Yeah.
Driving halfway across the country, hotel rooms,
Yeah.
Airbnbs for a
Gas.
week. There's a lot of expenses into this thing. It's still not, as good as we did. We still look on paper and like, it's not like like a complete no-brainer. Like,
No.
oh man, we got to do that for sure. But
Yeah.
I think the real thing is just on top
Oh.
of, yes, financially it did go well. But also we really got the word out about Massenomics.
Right.
Like
Yes, big
that would have
time.
taken a couple months online to one, get that much product sold, and then also just meet and talk to
Right.
people like that. That would never
Yeah.
happen online.
No,
So
there's no way to make kind of those same quality connections online as what. We
yeah,
can
no, you
there,
don't
too.
get to do that. You don't get to show people like, hey, we're not weirdos. Like we are, I think, somewhat normal guys to be around. We do lift. We
Yeah.
are fans of the sport. We're not just two random dudes that said, oh, let's make a t-shirt company and then we'll sell it to lifters.
Yeah.
Like we are involved. We are trying to, just increase awareness, knowledge, education, just everything about the sport.
Yeah,
And I think we do that.
I think so.
Whether it's through this podcast or Lifting Legends posts or Versus posts or
The number of people that came in up and said, "Oh, your stuff on Instagram is so funny. I love those things where you compare the
there
two
was
people."
a lot of people that said
Yeah,
that too, and then
yeah.
one of their buddies would be like, "What are you talking about?" And they would be explaining one
And
of
they'd
them.
be like, "Oh yeah, I've seen those." Yeah.
Yep, and then so a lot of people just know it through things like that, which
Yeah.
is cool too. So the word is getting out there, and as of right now, we definitely feel like we will be there again next year.
Yeah.
It's
We're already kind of talking about how we could do that better and what we could do a little bit differently, and it'd be really daunting to think about doing that anytime soon. But luckily, it would be a year away from now. So
yeah. Overall, I would just, if we had to classify the Arnold as anything, I would say a huge success.
yeah, I think it was, without a doubt. We're not gonna, like we said, we're not gonna do a big lifts because that's almost like the next.
That's kind
episode.
of what the next episode is.
What about comment of the week? I don't know if we have like one specific.
Well, actually, are we crossing the Mississippi River right now, Tanner? Is that what it just said?
it's a big.
It's a big river.
It's a big. Is this the border from?
Let's see. What's our sign say? Buffalo Bill Museum. Isn't that the guy from Silence of the Lambs that would tuck his sack back? They made a museum for that guy. Kind of weird, but whatever.
Yeah.
LeClaire Brentdorf. Not familiar with that one, but that's
No.
what our exit sign says.
Yeah. Yeah. If you've forgotten, we are still driving.
Yeah,
in
we
the
are
car.
still on the road.
And
Semi-truck drivers are really staring at us right now. This guy's doing a quadruple take on us.
Was he looking over?
Yeah, he gave me a lot of looks.
And just so you know, like, I'm getting pretty comfortable right now with podcasting and driving. I'm going to try and throw in texting as a third with my other hand.
We did notice, like, someone needs to, like, make a brand or a shirt that America's new pastime, America's great pastime right now is texting and driving. There's just no way around that one.
We've certainly noticed it across the last 4 or so states that...
Oh, we have officially entered Iowa.
Oh,
okay,
okay.
guys, we're in Iowa now. So you've now gone a second state with us at this point.
Yeah.
The podcast is winding down in time, so it is cool that we could take you on a two-state
podcast tour.
And maybe later today we'll get a second one in and we'll cover some more states for you too. We can keep you in the loop on all of the
We're
amazing...
going to take this podcast all across the United States.
Yeah. That's what we need to do. A Massenomics, maybe 2020 we'll do the Massenomics
road tour.
United States tour.
Yeah.
That could be a lot of fun.
All just audio podcasts.
Just audio,
us
just
talking.
from the car. Like, the tour part really doesn't have any bearing on anything other than to say that we did it. But yeah, Tanner, we are 55 minutes deep right now.
Well, what about us? How about this? A special Arnold version of underrated or overrated.
Okay, I think we can handle that. I think we can sneak that in. Maybe you probably should go over the rules though, because we are in a car, like we're in a different state. People might not know
we're in
if
a different state. The people from Iowa aren't going to know the rules.
Exactly. So we should probably explain how this goes.
That's how podcasts work, right? If
Yep.
we're in Iowa, that people from Iowa will be listening.
Yep.
Yeah. And I normally read the rules, so this is going to be tricky.
Ooh, yeah, the teleprompter guy usually loads these up for you right now. You're going to have to wing it. Hopefully you don't mess anything up, because we'd have to start the whole segment over then.
That's right. Well, so you know, underrated or overrated is lightning round questions that I typically come up with and ask Tommy to answer, and most of them are kind of random, pop culture related. Sometimes we throw some lifting related topics in there. This week's going to be a little bit special because it's an Arnold theme, so it's all lifting related in a way, but it's also all pop culture in a way. But probably the most important thing to remember on Under and Over is that the questions are, in fact, lightning round. The questions are always going to come at you lightning round. It's the answers that do not have to be lightning round.
You could say, though, today we do have like a 60-mile limit. Because the maps are going to kick in here pretty soon. We're going to have to start making some turns that might interrupt the segment. That could be bad for listeners.
So is there truly a cap?
There could
on
be
the
a
answers?
cap today.
A special cap
and even
on
if we
answers.
ignored the maps, at some point we would run out of gas, so we would have to stop.
Okay.
So technically there is a cap today. We don't know for sure what it is, but there is one.
Okay. All right. Well, you know the rules then. So the first one, it's Arnold related in a way. This came from a suggestion from Big James Strickland that we need to do on Under or Overrated, is that underrated or overrated, the rules of underrated or overrated.
Well, I think we've just shown right now that you can never overrate the rules. They
That's
are
true.
of utmost importance when it comes to this segment, because we cannot have anyone suffering any confusion at any point during this segment. So we do have to cover the rules very in depth.
If we didn't have rules, what would we have?
I mean, we'd have total chaos.
Anarchy.
Yeah.
I mean,
and at that point, no one's going to listen then.
people would be listening right now being like, what are they doing? I don't understand.
This isn't how it works.
Like, the questions are lightning round, but the answers aren't? Is that what it is?
My whole life, they're just questioning their whole lives all of a sudden. Yeah, we could never do that. So the rules are incredibly underrated.
Okay. Underrated or overrated, the bathrooms at the Arnold.
Well, okay, you can come at this one from two ways. As far as the staff goes, the bathrooms are overrated because they ain't going in there ever. Like, the staff might as well say, oh, we have a bathroom where tens of thousands of people are going to wreck it? Nah, we don't need to check on those things. Like, the number of times you go in and there's an inch of standing water in a bathroom.
The whole bathroom.
The whole bathroom has an inch of water. Like, it's just like, please, God, do not let me fall, because if I fall in here, I'm gonna
burn myself
I'm
alive.
gonna be soaked.
Yeah.
But two, I probably contracted so many diseases.
I would have.
Either that, or you would like develop some super tolerance to something because you just got subjected to every single bacteria and virus available to mankind. So Yeah, from the staff's point of view, the bathrooms are overrated. In fact, they think they're so overrated that at 7:30 in the morning, when they should be the cleanest they are all day, because I'm the first person to go in there, there's still water and toilet paper all over the floors, and you can look, and the toilet paper isn't in the things. Like, those are bathroom basics right now. So, yeah, staff point of view, bathrooms way overrated. From our point of view, they're incredibly underrated because they don't get served. And I just made that point clear. So, that one's a two-piece one.
Underrated or overrated? Hubert's Polish Kitchen at the North Market.
Very underrated. I can't even remember what half the food is called. The one is pierogies are really, really good.
I like the big.
Yes, we only got to eat there once this year, which was the biggest disappointment. But I got 2 pierogies. I got the mashed potatoes. He puts the spicy Polish stew over all of it, and the other one, I don't even know. It starts with an M. I cannot remember what it's called, but it's a big ball with. Was there rice in it at all? It was.
Isn't it like
it's for sure cheese, or chicken, cabbage, and it's like fried.
Yeah.
And there might be one other thing in there too that I'm missing, but it's so damn good. And I get that thing covered with the stew too. Man, I did take a picture of that and put it on my story, and I got probably more DMs about that picture of that food than I have gotten in quite a while, actually. Yeah. So, Hubert's, very underrated.
Last one here, underrated or overrated? The Deal Seekers and Hagglers at the Arnold.
They're the worst people. Okay, we do, even the way our booth works, T-shirts are 1 for $25, 2 for $40.
Yeah.
Some people might be like, well, that's kind of a lot. But online, they're a couple dollars cheaper, but you pay for shipping. So, like, it ends up being more.
Yeah.
And then 2 for $40 is a deal for you. Like, a $20 T-shirt is pretty fair market price.
Right.
And as far as the Arnold goes, we charge the same price as everyone else or cheaper. We're definitely not more expensive. And so there's a few people that's just like, 2 for $40. How about I just do 1 for $20? It's like, nah, man. How about you do 1 for $25, like the sign says? Or the people that just come in and just shoot you lowball right away, like, I'll do that shirt for 10. I'll do that shirt for 10, 15. It's like, no, it's 25.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, they'll start at 10. All right, 15. No, it's 25.
Yeah.
All right, have fun taking it home, they say. It's like, we will, and we'll sell it for full price online to people that want to wear it. So run along, man. And then and I get it too, because I'm like this a little bit. I'm not like Tanner. Neither you or I are like this, where we're just like firing off the cuff, just spending money doing things. We probably both overanalyze, and I think both of our wives would probably say you need to make up your minds a little faster sometimes. But there's a number of people that come up to the booth and have a hard time picking shirts, which is good because I think that means we're giving them a lot of choices that are good.
Yeah.
I don't mind that part. Then there's people that, you bring them out a large, I don't know, maybe a medium, you get a medium, they're trying a medium. You know what, maybe the medium's too small, let's go with a large. And actually, you know what, I'm going to change the style too. So then they see a large of a different style. Okay, this one's better. You know what? Let's just do the sweatshirt. It's like, and then actually, the number of people that their price can go from $25 for a single shirt, they get all the way up to $60 for 3, and then back down to $25 for 1, and then settle on a $40 sweatshirt. It's like, wow, you ran through the entire cycle of possibilities. I'm super grateful you bought something. It's just funny to see like how people's brains work out, like justifying prices, and what's the right fit for them, what's the right style.
It also
and you get
almost is like an experiment in
like human psychology. It really is. And you even the same thing. It's with people coming to the booth. What we compared to some of the bigger booths, what we may have lacked in sales, I think we gained in laughs and reactions.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Because the number of people that would do, like, look at our stuff, kind of do a long look away, look back really quick, and start smiling or laughing.
You could always see guys from 30 feet away that would get it and be like,
yep. You could literally see them pointing, hitting their friends, then laughing, and then if they run over, usually that was a pretty good sign.
I think we got a lot more of that than your average booth.
Yeah, we did get a lot of reactions, So that was awesome. But What was the original underrated, overrated there?
The Haglers.
The Haglers. Oh god, they're so overrated.
Yeah. I think that wraps us up on
How about this
underrated and
one?
overrated.
The Arnold.
Oh, do you got
the
one?
Arnold Classic. Underrated, overrated.
Ooh. The whole thing.
The whole thing.
Oh. I would almost say overrated, but like that's probably like shooting yourself in the foot if you say that. But like I kind of think it's a little overrated in some
I
ways.
do think,
but,
as a fan of the sport, it's something everyone should go to
yes,
once in their
yes.
life. Like, you will have a great time, no doubt about it.
and we get a little desensitized going to it, every year. Like,
And we also don't get to take in, like this year, besides our booth, we almost didn't see anything.
yeah.
Right.
But like I really like going and like what we do and everything like that. So I don't want to say like there's just things about it that are like the
It's just
intense
It's
crowd.
probably
Yeah.
the better question here is overwhelming or not overwhelming.
Very
And it's
overwhelming.
incredibly
Yeah,
overwhelming.
yes.
It's just like ultra stimulation
Yes.
for just 3 straight days. But
I
guess
also
at the
think
end
you
of the
only
day,
need 2 days.
you do. Yeah, the average person only needs 2 days,
Yeah.
and they don't need to be 2 full days either. But
No.
at the end of the day, we do love the Arnold, and that's
Yeah.
why we've gone back 3 days in a row. You should just have to mentally prep yourself for it. That is
Yep.
what it comes down to.
Yep.
Tanner, we are at our time basically now.
All right. I think that wraps us up. You can go to our online store. Hopefully by the time you're hearing this, we have everything mostly restocked and in inventory. There's going to be some things that are fairly low, though. So if you're after anything in particular, I would get on it quickly. We're going to be reordering and restocking. So if there's something we're out of now, just wait, hold on a little bit. We'll get that sorted out and get inventory back in. But the Curl Hard shirt is brand new. And if you weren't at the Arnold, you haven't had the opportunity to buy it yet, we'll have that online on our site by the time you're hearing this. So.
Yep, it's possible by the time you hear it's actually more than likely by the time you're hearing this, certain sizes are probably completely
Yes,
sold
yeah,
out.
yeah.
There should be, it's going to be pretty limited. So if you're
Yeah.
interested, make sure you get on there. Don't wait on it because there's a good chance those could be gone for a while. So
Yep,
hop
yep.
on that.
Yes. Other than that, check us out on YouTube, like us, subscribe on there, on Facebook. Leave us a podcast review. I didn't get a check into those if we've got any since we've been driving for hours on end, and I have been trying.
And you've been texting and driving,
I've been trying my best to not be on my phone. It is hard to not get on your phone for like 7 hours in a row.
Yeah.
For like to not look at your phone for that long.
Yep.
But check us out on everything that we do. Tell a friend about the podcast, and we will see you next year at the Arnold, and we will see you for our next episode of the podcast.
Who knows what state we'll be in then?
That's right. So Instagram handles, what do you got, Tommy?
At Tomahawk_D.
And follow the official Massenomics Instagram page at Massenomics. See you next time.
Later.
You just heard the Massenomics podcast. With your ears, you're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.